Hey folks, Fernando doing another video for more survivalists, and in this case talking about the new rifle adopted by the US Army, which is the XM5, this beautiful baby poop gun that we see right here. I'll say this right away. I like it. I think it's a beautiful gun, no doubt. It has lots of interesting features never seen before in any gun, like a fold-in stock, like a collapsible charging handle, and piston system. I mean, things we've never seen before in any other gun other than the FAL. It is kind of ironic they were pushing these things that, man, these things have been around forever. The FAL has also an adjustable gas system. The folding charging handle in the para model, the paratrooper model is visible there. The folding stock, even the caliber in caliber based on the 308s, a neck down. Look, I like the gun. I'll say this right away. I have no problem with the gun. I think it's a beautiful piece. It's great. It looks beautiful and fantastic. It's all, I like that it has a collapsible stock like it should have had like 100 years ago, and the charging handle on the side like any. So the gun is great. I have no complaints. I've never picked one in my life before. I have no idea how it shoots, but I'll trust every opinion out there that it's a great gun. Let's go with that, okay? It's a fantastic firearm. It still has three obvious big problems, which is what I want to cover in this video. First problem, number one, this is a big, heavy gun, right? It's lovely. It's great. I'm sure it's super accurate as well, but it's a big gun. It's a heavy gun. Number one, that is the main problem, and you will find this is a huge issue with anyone in the armed forces, especially these days where you have a more diverse military with women, with smaller frame men that probably never shot a firearm in their lives before, not particularly athletic or big or muscular. You're looking at a wide variety of size, of bodies, and you're giving them a gun that is a lot heavier than the M4? Really? The M4 is, fully with a magazine and mass. Here it is. With a 30-round magazine, 7.75 pounds of weight. 7.75 pounds of weight, and empty is just under 3 kilos, 6.4 pounds of weight. You're going to be giving them a gun that is weighing 9.8 pounds, almost 10 pounds. I mean, and with a loaded magazine, the magazine with 20 rounds, that's going to be another 1.4 pounds. So 9.8 pounds for the gun with a suppressor and 1.4 pounds for each magazine. You're talking about over a full kilo more of weight compared to the M4. So first thing, the quite obvious one, you're giving soldiers a much heavier gun. Number two, magazine capacity. You're giving them a gun that has 20 rounds instead of your 31 standard Stand-Act magazine, which is the standard around the world. So, number one. Number two, you're talking about changing the entire philosophy of military and soldiering from the last, 50 years or more? The idea, the idea of going with a lighter gun was the reason why all of these incredible changes that we've never seen before other than in the FAL were still not enough, and the gun was just too heavy and the round was just too powerful and too much recoil. Now you're giving them a gun that it's heavier than the one they already have. It has less ammo capacity. Why? Because it's adjustable, because it has a folding stock, a little folding charging handle like the one I have in the FAL paratrooper right there. In fact, the FAL was originally designed in 2.80 caliber British. .280 British was the original caliber of the FAL. Then the Americans came along and said, no, we need a .30 caliber because we had our 30-06, so we want to have a 7.62x51. That's the only way which we're going to be adopting the FAL. You made the change and you still didn't adopt it, and the rest of the world was stuck with a caliber that was not originally intended. And the original caliber would have been even better, and it would have been a kick-ass rifle for the next 100 years. Still is, though. And it's funny how they're mentioning all these, the adjustable gas system, the folding stock, all these innovations that you have and you already have them in that gun, right? I'm sure it's more accurate because of technology, because of construction methods and the way this is built, especially the optics. I get it. Again, I'm not trashing the gun. This is a great gun for a designated marksman, for someone that is a dedicated shooter that's going to be handling the weight and understanding the capabilities of the gun and the limitations of the gun. We've been for almost half a century in a world where the military understood that you want to have a lightweight gun. I'm not a particular fan of the AR system in general. I think that, or the piston. The piston that you had in the FAL, you have a piston here as well. Yeah, that's all great, but most of all, we had this understanding that we want lightweight guns with lots of bullets. That was basically the idea. Now you're giving them a full kilo heavier gun to a more diverse armed force full of women and small frame men, and not just small frame guys, but people that are not particularly interested in shooting, and they don't come from that background. They're not hunters or shooters themselves in general, and the recoil is going to be a lot more noticeable compared to their ARs, which were a lot milder. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Point number 3, the caliber is maybe the most ridiculous thing of all. The 6.8 or the .277 Fury. That is a stupid name. But anyway, bimetal hybrid round that makes no sense. It's pretty much the same as a 308. The 308 before, oh no, Fernando, you don't get it. The 277 Fury is so much more accurate. Dude, the 308 has been used by snipers and designated marksmen all over the world, very successfully so for a long time. Ballistically speaking, in terms of velocity and energy, it is very much similar. It's pretty much a slightly neck down 308. So you're telling me it's more accurate? I'll give you that. It's going to be more accurate. Is it going to be more accurate enough to justify? And is it going to be so much more accurate that's going to be making a difference for your average shooter? This is something that I was listening from the Military Arms channel, pretty much saying the same thing. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, the gun is great, but it doesn't make sense to replace the M4, a lighter gun with more bullets in the magazine, which is what the mind of the average soldier. Yes, he's not calling it cartridge. He's calling those bullets. I want to have more bullets in my gun. There is something to be said about, you have someone that is not particularly proficient in firearms. You're going to be giving him something handy, lightweight. Again, I'm not a fan of the direct gas impingement system and so on. Some people love it, some don't. Obviously, the military considered that was important enough to change. The charging handle here doesn't make any sense, especially when you have one on the side now. But I get it, so as to keep it in the same, for those that still are used to this sort of stuff. Okay, the caliber is stupid. Let me know in the comments if so much more accurate. Okay, give it to a dedicated marksman. Give it to a dedicated shooter that's going to be making good use of that. Because if not, giving this gun to the average soldier, they're going to be complaining. They're going to be, bitching about it. And at the end of the day, look at it. Side, rear, charging handle, short stroke piston system, folding stock. This is literally the FAL paratrooper that Liam from Forgotten Weapons is showing you guys. It is incredible that it took 100 years to get to this point. Yeah, baby shit color and all, better construction or more advanced, not better, but more advanced and refined construction and more accuracy. Okay. But man, come on. The 6.8, the Fury, the caliber thing is so stupid. At the end of the day, this all comes down to the military contract of $4.7 billion for a rifle and the automatic rifle weapon system, because there's a light machine gun weapon system there as well, and the $2.7 billion contract for the advanced computer-assisted fire control optic that works with both weapons, and the most substantial charge changes to individual, squad level, small arms, and generations. Okay. 4, 5, 6, 7, over $7 billion in this. I don't think it really makes any sense, man. The first thing any soldier is going to be noticing is my gun is now heavier and I have 50% less ammo in the magazine. This sucks. That's the thing you're going to be hearing the average soldier complaining about. The designated marksman, the special operations guy, he's going to be loving it. He wants this thing. This is the gun that he probably thought all along, right? keep in mind, this is Sig Sauer, the same ones that made this little shit here, the gun, the M17 that shot fire on its own when dropped. It is embarrassing that in this time, in this age, the United States adopts a pistol that fires on its own when dropped. That's something that was unacceptable 40, 50 years ago already. And it's so ridiculous that this thing beat the Glock. I mean, not surprisingly so, the Glock is still used by the Special Forces guys, the guys that have an option. They're going to be going with the Glock most likely. And they even call it the 007. It's like the super special pistol in the U.S. military is the Glock. You know, that's the badass gun to own, not the M17. Man, this is all about money. It really makes no sense. Eventually, I'll place my bet this is not going to be a standard issue. I don't think this is going to be replacing the M4. The M4, with all its limitations, is a light-handy, accurate gun. You know, the average guy, not even the average shooter, the average soldier with an M4 and a trigger gun on top, he's going to be shooting a target at 500 yards away. He's going to be nailing that. Is it going to be more accurate with this thing? More accurate so that it matters in the hand of someone that hasn't got a whole lot of training? You're going to be giving this as a standard issue gun? I don't think it makes any sense. The only sense I think it makes is the billions that we're talking about here. Folks, it's going to be all for now. If you're interested in realistic survival and preparedness, you have survival skills for the practical stuff. You have surviving the economic collapse for the economic collapse kind of stuff, and bugging out and relocating for when you have to just get the hell out of there because everything is done for and there's no option but to leave. That's my take on it, guys. That's what I have to say. I insist. The amount of money changing hands here, it's what it comes down to. The gun looks great. Bet it's very good. Bet it's super accurate, and I'm sure it's fantastic. Doesn't make any sense for the average soldier, though. See you in the next video. Take care.